అందరికీ నమస్కారములు. Today is the last topic of this course, that is research topics on various topics connected with Sanatana Dharma by Dr. CSR Prabhu garu. We will start the session with Vande Mataram and then Prarthana. Let us request Chala Chichibabu garu to recite Vande Mataram, please.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malayaj Sitalam, Sasya Syamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram. Subrajyosna pulakitayamini pullakusumita drumadala shobhini suhasini sumadhura bhashini sukhadam varadam mataram vande mataram Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram. ధన్యవాదములండి చలా చిట్టిబాబు గారు. Now let us request Swapna ji to chant Prarthana, please.
Mahodaya. First, we will be in meditation for a minute. Om. 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 Om Gananam Tva Patigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrunvannotibhisida Sadanam. Om Shri Mahaganadhipataye Namaha. Om Prano Devi Saraswati Vajephirvajinivati Dhinama Vitriyavatu. Om Shri Mahasaraswatyai Namaha. Gurureva Gatihi Gurumeva Bhaje Gurunaiva Sahasmi Namo Gurave. Na guroh paramam vishurasmi guroh matirasti gurau mam pahi guro. Jnananandamayam devam nirmalaspatikakrutim adharam sarva vidyanam hayagrivam upasmahe. Shruti smriti purananam आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्।
హరి ఓం గురుభ్యో నమః. ధన్యవాదములండి.
धन्यवादः महोदय।
ధన్యవాదాలు. Thank you so much. Now let us request CSR Prabhu garu to start the webinar, please.
Can you hear me and see me?
Yeah, we can hear you and see you also.
नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः. Friends, we'll be delving into some of the undelved or uninvestigated areas that is called research. What is research? Research, searching once again. That means it is already there somewhere unknown to us. We search once again. So normally, whatever knowledge is there, it is recorded in books and in research papers, in journals, and so on. But whatever is not there in these books or in research papers, if that knowledge can be brought into the explicit form, then it is called research. In other words, it is expanding the borders of knowledge. In fact, there is a subject called knowledge management, on which I wrote one book out of the 16 books which I wrote. Knowledge management is defined by a Japanese professor Nonaka as internalization of knowledge, externalization of knowledge, and socialization of knowledge. This is the definition. So we are doing exactly that in our course or any other course, any educational activity. Internalization of knowledge, externalization of knowledge, and socialization of knowledge. So what I am doing right now is externalization and socialization. So before socialization, the externalization of knowledge can be from two possible sources. One is tacit knowledge converted into explicit knowledge and then externalized as externalized knowledge. Tacit knowledge means knowledge which is there inside the persona of the individuals, like rishis or yogis or our grandmothers or grandfathers, who have lot of wisdom and lot of knowledge. Of course, wisdom is different from knowledge, higher level thing than knowledge. When they have it inside themselves, it is not recorded anywhere explicitly. Then when they convert it into an explicit form, that is called externalization of knowledge. The other thing is when knowledge is expanded beyond its existing borders. Today there is a border. Up to a point, people accept certain things, people know certain things in a certain subject, which may be a branch of another subject. So when that boundary of knowledge within which the existing knowledge is limited or conditioned, when it is expanded, then the boundaries are expanded, are incrementally added, either quantum jump or incremental addition. Normally, incremental expansion, incremental addition of knowledge is what is research. Of course, quantum jumps will be very rare. That has happened in cases like Einstein, where something like 50 years was jumped at one shot. So when you expand the borders of knowledge and when you imbibe new knowledge or when you generate new knowledge, the new knowledge is explicit, made explicit, expressed externally, then it becomes a research publication. All the higher education institutions are involved in research. They try to produce something new which is not there previously. Of course, it has to be based on the previous ones. Previous means existing, either in book form or in journal paper form or any other form. Whatever knowledge is existing already and is published, it has been made public. That means it is shared. That is, it is socialized knowledge, and such knowledge, externalized and socialized, such knowledge has to be first understood. That is called survey, literature survey. And after understanding it, it has to be incrementally or quantumly expanded or what you call multiplied or added. In that case, that is called research. Okay, now, till now I just gave you the definition of what is research, because I was director of research at KMIT for 10 years. We guided a lot of people in various levels. Of course, research is done at PhD level. It is also done at master's level to a limited extent, not as much as in PhD. So there are courses which are master's level oriented towards PhD. That a course is called MS. A course called MTech is oriented towards industry, jobs in industry. A course which is oriented towards PhD and research, or preparing the ground for PhD. That means the student will be trained so as to become capable of conducting research adequately enough background or grinding or introduction or pre-qualification for PhD is provided. Of course, PhD will have an entrance examination. It will have so many other paraphernalia. So in PhD, the person performs actual research, not fake PhD. I'm not talking of fake PhDs, where somebody does your research and your name is added by paying 50,000 rupees per paper. Like that, totally 2.5, 3, 4 lakhs if you pay, you will get your PhD without having any knowledge. I mean, that is called a fake PhD. It is very common in India. In all the universities around you, you find only fake PhDs. So I'm talking of genuine PhD, which is mostly in foreign countries and also in some of the IITs and IIITs. In a genuine PhD, having come from a background of ability to conduct research, the master's degree, they will join PhD, they will do a pre-PhD qualification exercise of passing various courses and writing a qualifying examination in the respective subject and also in the general research methodology, a subject called research methodology, after which the person is initiated into actual research by his guide, his or her guide, who is a genuine guide, not fake guides and fake PhDs and fake university degrees. And when I say fake, even though the university may be genuine, like it exists, but the research is fake. Most of the universities around you see in India are like that. They are existing real universities, but the research is fake. Fake in the sense I told you just now. It is not done by the candidate, it is somebody else is publishing paper and putting the name of the candidate for a fee. And it is done publicly with a regular system. There are fixed rates. For adding your name as first author, second author, third author in a paper which is going to be published in a conference or a journal. Now, I'm not getting into the PhD program here, though I have got one doctorate awarded to me for one of my researches in this field. I have 2 doctorates, one in computer science, where I have submitted a thesis on Sanskrit-related knowledge management cloud. And I got this, that is called object knowledge model. I'll explain that to you today. Then I also have another doctorate of divinity and religious philosophy pertaining to what is called Dharma Yoga, which I'll explain today. Okay, now I'll give you an overview of about 4 to 5 topics on which you can choose whichever you want and you can pursue your own research. Of course, it cannot be completed within this course. This course is coming to an end now. It is a launching pad for your own personal time and personal commitment to the research in that topic. And you can keep in touch with me and I will be able to give you guidance, adequate guidance in those topics. So I will now cover topic by topic. So first topic is Dharma Yoga. Now, I got a doctorate of divinity conferred upon me for doing this research by involving around 1 dozen different scholars and they being the contributors to one big book called Dharma Yoga. I'll tell you what is the background in it. Well, friends, as you know, today we have a very serious crisis in the globe. There are wars going on, and world wars are also being envisaged, if not, they're just on the verge of a third world war. Like now, Russia has threatened NATO, and that if this present ongoing war, if it is escalated by NATO by using nuclear weapons, then Russia will bomb the original source of nuclear weapons, like USA and so on. So here, the root cause is not religion, it is regional real estate property ownership and political allegiance. All are Christians, but they are fighting for something else. So now if you take the other war, Gaza war, there it is the conflict between 2 religions. So if you take India, Pakistan or India, Bangladesh or any other scenario of conflict, you'll find that there is religion behind it. So there's a fundamental conflict of a religion. That means my religion is correct, your religion is wrong. Therefore, I'll convert you, otherwise I'll kill you or I'll terminate you, I'll finish you or I'll conduct a war against you and I'll conquer you. This kind of attitude. It's a very serious matter. At the bottom of the conflicts in the world is religion. So and also at the bottom of other problems also, like we have major problems in the world. Environmental crisis is one major crisis. And then we have the financial crisis, we have the terrorism, and we have also the social crisis. Social crisis means people are having conflicts within society. Within the same religion also, they have a lot of conflict. And within the family, there is conflict. Between every two individuals, there is a conflict. So when I was giving one lecture at Munich, which Charles Savage organized, they asked me, after hearing for a long time my lecture on Vedas, Upanishads, Yoga, Bhagavad Gita, and so on. All these are very old, because Bhagavad Gita relates to Mahabharata war, which is supposed to have been conducted in 3102 BC. So why are you telling things which are minimum 5,000 years? Because Bhagavad Gita is the last and the latest, and that itself is 5,000 years old. And before that were the Upanishads, and before that were the Vedas. So we are talking about a very huge period of time. So they asked me, why are you talking of 5,000 or 10,000 years old subjects? You talk of today's scenario. Today we have all these problems. What is the root cause of it? And what is the solution? So that day, when I started my lecture in Business Center of Munich, I asked them how much time I have. They said, you have 6 hours. I never went to a meeting where I have to give a lecture for 6 hours. I gave hundreds of lectures in hundreds of meetings. But I cannot tell them I cannot speak for 6 hours. So I kept on speaking. So after about 4 or 5 hours, they asked me this question. What is the cause of the present day problem? Single cause. And what is the solution? So I cannot say I don't know. Because if I say I don't know, it will be a shame on my part and on my country which I am representing. Because people who are sitting there are not Indians. They were Germans who knew English very well. So I told them adharma is the root cause of all these problems. So what is adharma? They don't know. Because in common sense answer in India, anything going wrong, then people would say adharma. Because this is Kali Yugam, Kali Kalam. So adharma is bouncing, is surging. 75% of Kali Yuga is only adharma. Only 25% dharma will be there. Of course, if dharma becomes zero, then will not be there even in existence. So they asked me, what is adharma and what is the solution? Luckily, by the time they asked this question, time was over. So I told them I'll give you a solution tomorrow. Adharma, I identify. So on that day, tomorrow means not immediate next day, but weekend was there after 2 days. So I told them I'll give you the solution after 2 days. You come to another place. It's called Augsburg. Augsburg is a city where our friend Diesel was born. Diesel is what we are using in our vehicles. It is the name of the person. Diesel was born in Augsburg. So they said, all right, then so 2 days I went to Alps. So while walking on the Alps has 2 levels. One is the white snow and ice level, and the other is green level. So in the green level, I walked for 6 hours with my disciples, yoga disciples, me, who were German and Indian also. And during that walk, because you cannot talk, as Mahar Baba said, when the mouth is silent, the mind is active. So my mind was active. I was thinking deeply, what answer should I give them next day? So then I came to the conclusion of a concept called Dharma Yoga, which I'll explain to you. So Dharma Yoga, the first step is to analyze the root cause of problems. root cause of conflicts rather. Problems are generated due to conflicts. Well, and the conflict is inside the mind, it is not expressed. It will be bothering the person himself or herself and causing ill health problems. When it is expressed, it will cause conflicts with the other person with whom you are expressing your dissents or dissent in your mind. So that conflict which will arise with the other person can be spread to more people in the family or in the office, and so on. So here I made a root cause analysis and I concluded that the root cause of all the problems in the world is nothing but adharma, and that comprises of 10 negative emotions. What are those 10 negative emotions? Ahankara, ego is the first root cause. Mamakara, mine. And raga, dvesha, hatred. Kama, desire. If desire is not fulfilled, it will become anger, krodha. If it is fulfilled, it will become lobha, greed. Then it will become moha, delusion. Then it will become pride. Then it will become jealousy or matsarya. So these 10 negative emotions, ahankara, mamakara, raga, dvesha, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, and matsarya, I realized are the root cause of all problems in the world, inside the mind. So when they are expressed, they will cause conflicts in the society. I can prove that any conflict, either inside the family or in the office or in the larger context of society, political level or in any other even international level, has its origins in these 10 negative emotions. So of course, I'm not saying we can wish away or we can avoid this completely, but I have developed a technique of decreasing them or reducing their intensity by observing them in your own mind in the meditation process. And when suppose anger is there, you keep on observing anger every day for 10 days, the anger will subside to a large extent. Then finally, when it becomes weak, you force it out by replacing it with its opposite. And that opposite is called love. Anger opposite is love. And similarly, greed opposite is charity, generosity, magnanimity. So when you replace within your own mind with the opposite, that opposite is dharma, and the original negative emotion belongs to adharma. So what is dharma? Dharma are the positive emotions, which are the opposite of the negative emotions. Serenity, regularity, absence of vanity, sincerity, simplicity, veracity, equanimity, fixity, non-irritability, adaptability, humility, tenacity, integrity, nobility, magnanimity, charity, generosity, purity. So practice daily these 18 ETs and you will soon attain immortality. You will abide in infinity and eternity. You cannot learn this in a university. This is 18 ETs song by Swami Shivananda. So these positive emotions, which are expressed as 18 ETs in this song, they are also expressed as 10 positive emotions by Manu. They are called Dharma Lakshanas. Dhriti, Kshama, Dama, Shaucham, Asteyo, Indriya Nigraha, Dhi, Vidya, Satyam, Akrodho, Dashakam, Dharma Lakshanam. Dhruti, Kshama, Dama, Shaucham, Asteyam, Indriya Nigraha, Dhir, Vidya, Satyam, Akrodho, Dashakam, Dharma Lakshanam. This is Manu Smriti. Then in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, as you know, we have the Yamaniyamas as the positive emotions, positive principles of life. Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Aparigraha, Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Isvara, Pranidhana. So, Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Aparigraha, Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Isvara, Pranidhana. Then in the Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter, there are 26 positive emotions called Daivi Sampat, Abhayam, Sattva Samshuddhi, Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, Dhanam, Damascha, Yajnascha, Swadhyaya, Tapaha, Arjavam, Ahimsa, Satyam, Akrodha, Tyaga, Kshantirapaisunam, Daya Bhuteshu, Alolutvam, Mardavam, Hri, Rachapalam, Teja, Kshama, Dhruti, Shauchamadroho, Nabhimanta. So by now, some of you might have realized these 26 are having the previous 10 also within themselves, Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, and so on. So, and they also have some advanced features like Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi, being enlightened state, and Sattva Samshuddhi, being in a purified, strong position. So these are some of the advanced features. So we dropped some of the advanced features and identified some 16 to 18 common factors of ethical values. So in this research which we have done, and I want you to extend it if you can, is that we have investigated whether these ethical values, moral principles, positive principles of dharma, whether they are present in other religions or not, or only in Hindu scriptures. So we made a matrix. In first column, we have given the Hindu scriptural references in Mahabharata, in Bhagavad Gita, in Yoga Sutras, in Manusmriti, and Ramayana, because Rama is nothing but personification, Murti bhavinchinatuvanti dharma. So, of course, Hindu scriptures, all Hindu scriptures are standing for dharma. Mahabharata is known as Dharma Shastra, and Ramayana is the story of Rama, who is personified dharma. And we also have the Bhagavad Gita, and of course the Upanishads, and of course the Vedas, which have upheld dharma, satya in a big way. That is the main purpose of all the scriptures which we have. How to lead life with dharma, satya dharmaya. So they have mentioned repeatedly. Of course, in the Veda, the word dharma is not there. It is the old equivalent of dharma is ritam. Ritam means the universal law. The same thing in English became ritam. There is a universal law which holds all the activities together, in all the things together in the world, and that is called ritam. Ritam Satyam. Param Brahma. This is Rigveda. So now the second column, we wanted to find whether these dharma principles are existing in other scriptures, religions other than Hinduism. Bible, Quran, Guru Granth Sahib, Buddha Sutras, Jaina Sutras. So we assigned this job to the respective scholars because we are not scholars, we don't know Arabic and so on. Surprisingly, they could locate some statements in their scriptures as well in support of these ethical values, Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Parigraha. For example, if you take these first 5, Satya, Ahimsa, Brahmacharya, Asteya, Parigraha. 5 principles which are called yamas in Yamaniyamas. Yama means controlling principles. They are the fundamental principles which control the universe in the society for civilizational existence. So if you don't have any of these 5, there will be a complete crash, collapse. For example, if you stop Satya, then everybody will be indulging in asatya, fraud, and nothing can work. If you remove ahimsa, within a few minutes, everybody can kill each other and die. If you remove asteya, everybody can steal and rob others. If you remove brahmacharya, then there is no marriage, nothing. It is worse than a jungle raj. People will have sexual relations with anybody. And if you remove aparigraha, that means aparigraha is nothing but not accepting things from others and accumulating them. Then there will be single or 1 or 2 people who will accumulate everything and all others will suffer. So these 5 principles are obviously fundamental, essential, non-negotiable compulsory requirements for survival of a society or civilization. The next 5, which are called niyamas, shaucha, santosha, tapas, swadhyaya, isvara, pranidhana, they are not compulsory essential, but they are desirable higher order values. Shaucha, purity, santosha, that is satisfaction, contentment, tapas, austerity, swadhyaya, study of spiritual texts, and isvara, pranidhana, surrender to Ishvara. So religions like Jainism, Buddhism, or even people like communists, socialists, atheists, rationalists, skeptics, agnostics, they don't believe in God. They don't believe in Ishvara in the first place. So they cannot perform Ishvara Pranidhana. But all others do believe. Muslims, Christians, Jews, they all believe existence of Ishvara. Therefore, they can perform Ishvara Pranidhana. So those principles do exist in those scriptures of those religions. So surprisingly, we found that what we normally consider very bad, those scriptures also contain ordainments of upholding the same dharma principles which we have in our scriptures. So that is speak truth, don't cheat, don't steal, don't accumulate, don't take somebody else's wife with you, all these things. So they are given as 10 commandments, or they are given as stories, allegories, or moral injunctions. In fact, to put it in one shot, all the religions are there only to implement dharma. And surprisingly, law itself is nothing but dharma. Nani Palkiwala is on record to say that law is nothing but the embodiment of dharma. So all religions, they do have the dharma. Of course, you can ask how come they are behaving the opposite way. They are behaving opposite way because people are like that. People are not perfect. They don't, please mute your mics. People do not practice the principles. They may not even know that those principles are ordained in their own scriptures. They may not even read or understand the scripture. Even among Hindus, if you ask how many of Hindus have read Bhagavad Gita, 16th chapter or any other chapter, and understood the Yoga Sutras and Yamaniyamas, hardly any you will find. And that's why we are offering this course, so that people will come to know more of these things. So people don't know, don't bother. In fact, as Bhishma says in the Shanti Parva, nobody will follow dharma on their own. Of course, small children, they will automatically follow dharma in their own nature. They'll be smiling, they'll be sharing, they'll be nice to others, they'll not hurt others. Very small children. As they grow, they get corrupted by society into bad and bad to worse, and some of them will become worst. So, the moral ethical principles are the main enjoyments or ordainments of all the scriptures of all religions, not people. Even the so-called religious scholars, they also may misrepresent or mislead their audience or followers. But the scripture itself, when you see, you will find that we were surprised to find that these things are there in all scriptures. So then we requested the concerned experts to write one full chapter on the same ethical moral principles in their scripture. So people wrote from Bible, from Quran, from Buddha Sutras, from Jaina Sutras, of course from Hindu scriptures. Of course, Guru Granth Sahib is nothing but a compilation of other scriptures quotations. So we found that all religions are telling exactly the same thing, to follow dharma. But people don't even read, don't even know, don't follow it. They will follow whatever they know or whatever they like and whatever they are told to by their parents or by their superiors, etc., or their so-called religious scholars who really don't know what is there in the scriptures. So this is a very important discovery of our research. Normally, every follower of every religion thinks the followers of other religions are bad people. they have to be convinced to convert into his own religion. And they have been doing these conversions in a large scale for the last 1,000, 2,000 years. And what is the result of it? The result of it is conflict and war. So this itself is fundamentally wrong, because in our research of Dharma Yoga, we found that the Dharma is being upheld in all the scriptures of all religions. Therefore, the meaning of conversion is not there. There is no meaning for conversion. And therefore, there is no meaning for wars and violence in the name of conversion into because all religions are telling, I'm not saying all religions are same. Please note this point. They are not same. They cannot be same, because they are born at different times, at different countries, in different circumstances, in different cultures, in different habits, and different perceptions, different frameworks of reference. They cannot be same. But there is something same in all the religions, and that something is dharma. So this discovery, which came out of that book, resulted in the conferment of a doctorate to me as Doctor of Divinity by that institute where this research was done, because that institute had faculty members from various religions who are doctorates and are professors in those respective religions: Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, Jainism, and so on. So now this is called Dharma Yoga. I gave the name Dharma Yoga as three different meanings in it. It is a new type of yoga, which is Dharma Yoga, because Dharma is the sum and substance of the entire other yogas. Because you take any other yoga like Raja Yoga, Yama Niyamas are fundamental sum and substance, first step. Or if you take any other Karma Yoga, you'll have the same principles upheld. And this is called Dharma Yoga to give a comprehensive coverage, because in the first sentence of Bhashya by Adi Shankaracharya to Bhagavad Gita, he says, Dharma dvividhaha. Dharma is of two categories: Pravritti Lakshano Dharmaha, Nivritti Lakshano Dharmaha, and Narayanaha Arjunaya Proktavan. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna, who is Narayana himself, he spoke, he taught Dharma to Arjuna, through Arjuna to the whole globe. He has actually instructed the whole globe through Arjuna. So what did he instruct? He instructed Dharma. This is what Shankaracharya says. So the entire Bhagavad Gita is nothing but Dharma. And of course, Dharma dvividhaha, Pravritti Lakshanaha, Nivritti Lakshanaha. Pravritti Lakshana is what we are talking of: the social activity, social order, social balance, social welfare. That is Pravritti Lakshana Dharma. Nivritti Lakshana Dharma is Moksha Marga, Nirvana Marga. So Dharma is of two types, but the principles are common. The principles of Dharma are common for both Pravritti Lakshana and Nivritti Lakshana. So the research topic which we have taken up this way was very fundamental. And in fact, this fact is not known, that Dharma is being upheld in all the scriptures. Of course, I'm not saying all those scriptures are perfect or ideal or pure. There are contents in those scriptures which are professing violence and war, and maybe many other bad things. But those things are of a different context. But the main universal principles or ethical, moral values are being upheld. That is an important fact, which is not being recognized, which is not being adopted, which is not being preached, which is not being emphasized. Upholding Dharma, even if you take within the Hindu society, who is upholding Dharma? We are giving a course on Sanatana Dharma. Sanatana means eternal, it's always there. But basically, it is Dharma. So who is upholding Dharma? Nobody. In fact, you ask anybody in the society, tell me what is Dharma and are you upholding? He says, what is Dharma? He himself doesn't know. So the word Dharma comes from the root dhru, which is to uphold, sustain. So it's a set of principles of sustainability. So of course, in Bhagavad Gita itself, the whole context is of war. So people can interpret, like there was a case put in a Russian court saying that Krishna was inciting Arjuna to fight a war. So it is a criminal act and act of war. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita should be banned. Like this, one case was put in Russia, and of course it was dismissed. So because he was not asking Arjuna to be going to war against his own kith and kin just for sake of it. Because if you interpret it, twist it in a wrong way, you have to say that today also you go to war against your kith and kin, your cousins, your gurus, your grandfather, your uncles, your teachers, you kill them. That's what it means, which is very dangerous interpretation. So you cannot give that interpretation. Similarly, the wars given in the Quran were pertaining to the war which happened in their internal conflict in Arabia sometime in 7th century or so. It has nothing to do with outside Arabia or other times or other contexts. So these terrorists who are taking those things and then trying to indulge in act of violence today is illegal, even as per the Quran, according to the deep scholars of Quran. According to ordinary fake, imposters, they will interpret all terrorist ideology out of Quran. So similarly, in Bible also, there are a lot of violent activities of killing and destroying others' property, temples, and so on, which are illegal and invalid in the modern context. They are having a specific context. Like in the case of Bhagavad Gita, there is a specific context to fight that war. That doesn't apply throughout the globe and all other times to come, that you go on fighting wars against your own kith and kin. It doesn't mean that. So the false interpretation, twisting and tweaking has caused a lot of problem. In fact, most of the interpreters of these scriptures of other religions, they have been interpreting in a twisted way for the sake of their own benefit or whatever reasons. So, but these quotations which we put in the book prove that these moral ethical principles are upheld, though there are other statements which are opposite to it in the same text in different contexts, and they should not be taken for universal applicability. Only the ethical and moral values have to be taken for the universal applicability in all times to come and all locations. So this is a very challenging task. Now, the related topic, this is one research topic. The related research topic is, why is this commonness there? So, of course, why is this commonness? People say, no, all people are naturally good in, like small children, they are naturally good. Or even, if you take some ordinary housewives or old ladies or in villages or here and there, they have not studied any big textbooks, but they will be naturally good. So goodness is in human nature. Like that you can say. But there is something more to it. That is the historical sequence. So all these scriptures are coming with a gap of hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. So if you start going back, latest if you take, say, Guru Granth Sahib. Guru Granth Sahib is the latest. Guru Granth Sahib is containing extracts from other scriptures. That is very clearly mentioned there. They've declared it also. From the Gita, from the Vedas, from the Upanishads, and also maybe from some other Baba Farid and other saints and so on. So it's very clear that it is an anthology. It's an collection of extracts from the previous scriptures. In fact, any book anybody writes, not only in religious literature, but even in the normal subjects, like suppose medicine. If anybody writes a book, it has to be derived or based upon the previous books. Or if you write, I wrote many books in computer science. I never wrote any book which is 100% on my own. I have based on the previous books and previous papers and previous lectures and previous presentations. And then I have what is called casting. I have done the casting after melting the knowledge in the previous sources. I may add something more, that is extension, that is called research. You get a doctorate for it. Even without adding, I can present it in my own way. If I don't present in my own way, if you reproduce as it is, it will infringe the copyright rules. If you represent it, reform it and represent it in your own way, then it will not have conflict with copyright. So these scriptures, which were written in different times, by different authors. Of course, many times the authors are not known because they want to give sanctity to the scripture. They will say it is word of God. Like even the word Bhagavad Gita, it means a song of God, divine song. But it is recorded by Vyasa. So there is an author who has recorded it. And that author has obviously referred to the previous text. His knowledge is based on the previous knowledge. Like even in the Bhagavad Gita, you will find many statements which are already found in the Kathopanishad or other Upanishads. Or even, in fact, they have mentioned that the Bhagavad Gita is nothing but the summary of the Upanishads. I'm not saying Krishna has not told it. He told it in his own way, in his own words, but it is recorded in a chandas in Bhagavad Gita form by Vyasa. Vyasena grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharata. So when it is being recorded, the knowledge of Vyasa on that particular topic will also come into the picture, in addition to the knowledge of Krishna who delivered the conversation talk to Arjuna. So previous knowledge on the same point, on the same topic, subtopic, say Atma or say Dharma or say Bhakti. So previous knowledge will automatically come into picture. That you can see even word by word quotations from Kathopanishad into Bhagavad Gita. So these texts which have come into existence in different periods, like the Quran came into existence around 9th century AD, before Guru Granth Sahib. And before the Quran, the Bible was there around 4th century AD, it came into existence. And the Bible has two parts, the Old Testament and New Testament. Old Testament is the scripture of the Jews or Judaism, and New Testament is scripture of Christians. But now, before the Bible, what was there? If you look at it, then you will find that the Zend-Avesta was there, which is the old Persian text of the Zoroastrians. So if you see the Zend-Avesta, whatever is there in Zend-Avesta, it is nothing but a kind of a derivative of the Rig Veda itself. Because you can see there are so many similarities of the language of the Zend-Avesta and Rig Veda, and also the commonality of Devatas. And I have seen with my own eyes the Gayatri Mantra going into the Zend-Avesta from Rig Veda. So as you know, the Supreme Being or Parabrahman is represented by Om. Om Ityekakshram Brahma. Now this statement, Om Ityekakshram Brahma, is there in the Upanishads. And you will find it in the Guru Granth Sahib also. Ek Onkar, they will put number 1 and write Om. In all the Gurudwaras you go, you will find on the flag, 1 number 1 and 1 Om. Ek Onkar. Om Iti Ekaksharam Brahma. This is in the Upanishad, Mandukya Upanishad, and even in the Isavasya Upanishad, and so on and so forth. The ideology, the philosophy, right from the Upanishad went into the Sikh statements. Ek Onkar, Satnam, Karta. So they pray to Onkara. Onkaram Bindu Samyuktam Sada Jhayanti Yoginaha. Kamadam Mokshadam Chaiva Onkaraya Namo Namaha. Onkaraya Namo Namaha. So what way the Sikhs are different from us? There is no way, except they have their own teachers, they have their own language, they have their own script. So if you go back in time, you will find that the Rig Veda is the root cause of all the knowledge and ideas and concepts and themes and spiritual knowledge, particularly, which migrated from Rig Veda into Zend-Avesta. So in Zend-Avesta, in their own language, which came thousands of years after Rig Veda, of course, who are the Iranians? They also went from India. At least some of them went from India. Because Prabhu himself went to Iran through Gujarat, from Brahmavarta, from Dosi Hill in Brahmavarta in the border of Haryana and Rajasthan. And Prabhu's son is Shukracharya, who is the guru of these people. Asuras. They call Asura means good man. Sura means bad man in their language. It is just a question of language. So Ahura Mazda is their supreme being, and they have brought in the concept of monotheism from that time onwards. So in the Rig Veda, there is a very wonderful statement. Indram Mitram Varunam Matarishvam Supernova Gartman Ekam Sat Vipra Bahudha Vadanti. There is only one Sat, one truth, even though it is expressed in different ways by the scholars, knowledgeable people, Vipras. In what ways? As Indra, as Mitra, as Varuna, and so on. So all the devatas of Rigveda, most major is Indra, then of course Mitra or Surya also, and then Varuna, and so on and so forth. Matarishva, Suparna, Garutman, and Ashwins, and so on. All these devatas are Bahudha Vadanti, Viprah Bahudha Vadanti, but Ekam Sat. The truth is only one. One truth behind all this. That means he has upheld the monism or monotheism behind the polytheism or pantheism. Pantheism means worshipping various devatas in nature. Monotheism means single devata. The word the in English is deva, theo, theosophy, theology, deva. Tadar same in Tamil. That's how in English da becomes ta. So then the polytheism is having Bahudevata Aradhana, Ekeshwaravadam, Bahudevata Aradhana, and Prakriti Aradhana. All that is pantheism, polytheism, and monotheism and monism. Monism is Advaita, one without a second. Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma, the Upanishad declares. Neha Nanasti Kinchana, whatever multiplicity you see, is not existing. Only one without a second exists. Now, this is ultimate monism, Advaita, which Adi Shankaracharya brought out as Advaita Siddhanta and defeated all the other religions, scholars way later, after these statements were made in the Vedas and Upanishads. So at the time of Rigveda, none of the religions existed. So the Rigvedic society believed in universal society, Vasudhaika Kutumbakam, and it believed in universal love, oneness. So at that time, whatever knowledge was there is expressed in the Rigveda, which whatever portion is still available with us. Of course, much of it must have been lost. We agree. Whatever is available with us, that itself is very vast. It goes into 10 volumes. And it will talk of all kinds of things. It will talk of Saraswati River. It will talk of universal oneness, sam gachadvam, sam vadadvam, samano mantra samiti samani, uniformity of thinking, uniformity of thought, uniformity of appearance. It talks of social welfare, socialistic concepts are there. All are equal, sarve bhavantu sukhinaha, like this kind of things. And it talks of oneness of the Supreme Being, ekam sat, vipra bahudha. So these things went directly into the Zen Devas of Zoroastrians. And from that, it went into Bible. Because Subhash Kak demonstrated in a paper, which I think shared once, that the sun, Surya Upasana in the Rigveda, the entire Sukta is almost directly translated into the Old Testament as Yahweh's praise. And that in between there is a connection with Egypt. There's a Pharaoh called Akhenaten who established sun as the only supreme being. Surya Atma Jagatasthastascha. We have a statement in the Rigveda. And he was the son and the husband of Hindu ladies who were from the Mitanni and Hittite tribes of Turkey into the Egyptian Empire. So the Egyptian Empire, the pharaohs and the dynasties were closely connected with the Hittite and Mitannis, who were Vedic people, because there is a Bogoskoi inscription upholding the Vedic deities for a treaty in the war between the Hittites and Mitannis. All this is brought out by Subhash Kak, the famous scholar, in his paper, which I have also shared. So we have evidence to show that the concept of God, single God but appearing in many forms, went from Rigveda to Zen Devas. And that single God came down to Jews, both directly from Rigveda as a sun god replaced as Yahweh, and also from the Zen Devas as Ahura Mazda into the Judaism as Yahweh. And same Yahweh became Jehovah in Christianity by adding Trinitarian ideology. Instead of one, there are three parts of it: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. That is, Jesus is brought as the Son there. and which is negated by the Unitarian Church, which is more close to the Judaism and which gave birth to the Islamic thought process. That is no Jesus business. Jesus is just a man, he is a prophet, but there is only one God, and that God is the supreme. La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah. The word Muhammad, normally people think it refers to a single person. It's not so. The word Muhammad in Arabic, without vowel, Muhammad, refers to just a meaning as if it's messenger. So it can also mean Jesus, or it can also mean Moses. And there are early coins with the cross and mentioning this La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, without even Islam having been born by them. So Islam and Quran were born around 9th century AD, and by one king called Abdul Malik, whose name was also Muhammad. Muhammad is a very common name. It's like a best man like that. So on his own name, he projected a personality and which is presented in the Quran and for establishing a new religion. And similarly, Jesus was projected as a personality. He never existed, that's what people say, as a personality to create a religion called Christianity. And before that, Moses was there was no Moses. There was a courtier in Akhenaton, Pharaoh's court, who was declared as Moses, like manufactured as Moses as a prophet, and Judaism was created. So, not going into the debates on the because some of the debates, the BBC I saw, they declared that all biblical personalities are fictitious. Well, not going into the fictitious nature of the personalities, you look at only the philosophy part, you will find that there is a continuity of philosophy from the Rig Veda to Zen Davest of the Zoroastrians, and then to the Old Testament, to the New Testament, the Judaism and Christianity and Islam. So, of course, in the Sikhism, it is again monotheism of the Veda, Ek Onkar, Satnam. So, in our Hindu culture, monotheism, polytheism, and pantheism are integrated into monism or Advaita, as Adi Shankaracharya brought out. So, this whole thing is a research topic. So, then one more research topic which is related to this but not same is the Indus script. What is Indus script? This is the third research topic. So the Indus script was not deciphered till now, till recently, till now with confidence or declaration of finality. And now one person by name Yajnadevara, who is a programmer in US, has come out with a proof of mathematics and cryptography that it is Vedic Sanskrit. Because by assigning the known sounds of Brahmi, all the present day scripts are the distortions of Brahmi script. So this, some of the script known sounds when they are assigned to the Indus script, and also assigning the Sanskritic sounds into the Indus script, he was able to read all the Indus script inscriptions with valid words in the dictionary of Sanskrit, Vedic Sanskrit. Vedic Sanskrit is old Sanskrit. The classical Sanskrit is post-Valmiki is classical Sanskrit. Both are related, but they are not same. Old Vedic Sanskrit has some different vocabulary and different grammar and so on. But it is a parent of the classical or modern Sanskrit. So he was able to read the phrases of the Indus inscriptions and various declarations in the Indus script, which are turning out to be the Rigvedic statements. And not only statements, but even the meter, Anushtubh or Gayatri, other Chandas was also readable in the Indus inscriptions. So he proved, he has written 100 pages paper, which I have shared in the group, where he proved, and I gave a lecture on this topic on one of the weekend lectures through VSS, where he proved that this is nothing but Vedic Sanskrit. And this is very, very strong, important conclusion, because if the Indus script is Vedic Sanskrit, then it integrates vertically and horizontally the whole globe into one theme or one string. How vertically it integrates downwards with the Brahmi script, which is a parent of modern Indian scripts, and therefore it integrates with the later Indian history as a continuity connected to the Indus civilization. So the Indus civilization is the older parental version of the modern Hindu civilization. This is one important critical conclusion that comes out, which is the downward vertical integration. You take the upward vertical integration because the inscriptions are showing the Vedic phrases and even the extracts from Rigveda directly. It upwards integrates with the Rigveda. That means it's integrating downward and upward the Rigveda with the Puranas and modern Hinduism. And what about horizontal integration? Because the Indus script is going back up to 4200 BC in Mohenjo-daro and 6000 BC, 7000 BC in Mehergarh. And in 1900 BC, a script called Kharoshti is known to have been originated from the Indus because same sounds are there, same signs are there. And the Kharoshti happens to be the parent of Arabic and Hebrew scripts, which means the Arabic and Hebrew, that means the Judaism, Israel, and even Arabia, the Bahrain, and because the Indus Valley civilization excavations have been found even in Bahrain and beyond, they are all linkable, connectable to the Indus script as origin, because Indus script is much older than them, than Kharoshti. Kharoshti is only 1900 BC, Brahm is only 500 BC, and Indus is going back beyond 4200 BC, even up to 7000 BC. So vertical and horizontal integration of the whole globe, you will find it in the Indus script. So this is the third research topic. And then the fourth and fifth, I will tell you. The fourth research topic is on the nature of consciousness. Consciousness is identified as the self. Who am I? That question, when it arises, then you will find that this question is answered in different ways in different domains. In neuropsychology, it is addressed in a different way. In psychology, it is addressed in a different way. Neurology, famous neurosurgeons are there who think that consciousness is only something to do with the nervous system. So from that end of the spectrum to the Advaita end of the consciousness being the only one truth within which the universe is a kind of a projection, or it is just an impression created, simulation. What you see as universe, as reality, is nothing but just an impression or projection, a simulation created on the basic platform of consciousness. Vishwam darpana drishyamana nagari tulyam nijantargatam pasyanatmani mayaya bahirivot bhutam yadanitra. Just like in a dream, the world of the dream appears as if it is outside you, but actually it is within you. So also during wake state, though the universe appears to be outside you, that is consciousness, it is actually within you. That is why we have seen that every individual sees a different universe. Even an ant sees a different universe, a mosquito sees a different universe, and every animal sees a different universe, because it is nothing but its own impression, its own model in its own self, and that self is consciousness. So that self is Chit, and that Chidakasha, Chit, that is, Atma, so many names are given. And the nature of consciousness is a very big research topic. For those who are interested, are capable of taking up this, you can do their research into this consciousness from different perspectives of different domains. Then I'll go to the next research topic, that is the relationship of Yoga Shastra with Tantra Shastra and Mantra Shastra. So I was brought up in yoga discipline, as you know, and I also try to understand the Tantra Shastra and Mantra Shastra from my guru. And then suddenly I found that they are having parallelism. The same chakras are there, and the same things are there in yoga and Tantra both. And how that parallelism is there in Tantra Shastra, there is a lot of visualization of the devatas, of different chakras. And what are chakras, as you know? The chakras are the centers of nervous system. Not just nervous system, the pranic flow, nadi system. So the prana flows through the various nadis, and the intersections, junctions of those nadis are called chakras, and there are many, many chakras, but 6 are the major chakras. Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipuraka, Anahata, Vishuddha, Ajna, and Sahasra. So I researched to interpret between the Tantra Shastra and the Tantra Shastra, Mantra Shastra are one and the same. Tantra Shastra is based on Mantra Shastra with vis-a-vis yoga. And Tantra Shastra is the foundation of Agama Shastra, which is the basis for temple constructions and temple culture and religious rites and all the entire practicing Hinduism in temple form. It is based on Agama Shastra, which is nothing but the Tantra Shastra, the foundation. So, and then the final research topic is Viman Shastra, on which we have done a lecture. And Viman Shastra has a lot of material science, metallurgy, mechanical engineering, aerodynamics, rocketry involved in it, and solar energy, and many, many subjects are involved in it. It is not easy. We could reproduce some of the materials, but there are many more materials that can be reproduced and that can be characterized, and that can be brought into commercialization stage also. So these are the various research topics. How much time we have? Shall we go for interaction? So I have, and of course, one more research area is the Vaiseshika, the physics of Vaiseshika. So how physics is there in Vaiseshika? I wrote a book. It's still an open-ended research. So I've given you about half a dozen research topics. Hello?
Yeah, we can go for interaction. Anybody wants to ask any question on this research topics?
They all must have got overwhelmed or
Not prepared for research.
We are too small to understand this, sir.
no, nothing like that. Everybody is, all power is within you. You can do anything and everything. This is what Vivekananda said.
Okay, there is one question in the chat box. I'll read it out. How can we conclude that the Delhi's heavy pollution is the act of mankind and is totally because of just one. Because of adharma? There is no way presently avoiding the vehicles, industrialization, and burning the crops.
No, I can easily prove.
Yeah.
Easily prove the deforestation is the root cause, right?
Yeah.
Deforestation. And deforestation is done by commercial intention. Even today, it is being done. Even in Amazon forest, it is being done. It's a very big issue. So, commercial deforestation is the root cause of environmental pollution. If you have more forests and more trees, that's, in fact, in Hinduism, we are supposed to have one tulsi plant in every house in front. If you go to Goa, there are two Goas, north and south. One is Christian, other is Hindu. The Hindu Goa, you will find everywhere, in every house, tulsi plant and many other plants. If you go to Goa, you don't find any environmental conflict. So, the environmental conflict is due to deforestation, and deforestation due to greed, immoral deforestation. Next question. Yeah.
For Satya Buddhi, Satya Suddhi, is there any technique?
Well, let the person speak who I'm not clear.
Yeah. Kavita Agarwalji, you can talk. You can unmute and talk. Kavita Agarwalji.
What exactly you mean? Yeah, bataiye.
While the emotions, dharma lakshanas and all, when you are explaining it, you talk about the sattva shuddhi.
Sattva samshuddhi. Sattva samshuddhi.
Yes. Is there any breathing technique or something which can help in that? That was my question.
Very good question. Now, the We have three gunas, you know that, right? The Sattva guna, Rajo guna and Tama guna. Are you aware? So the Rajo guna is the root cause of conflicts. And Tama guna, of course, is much worse. It will result in damage and destruction. So to put it in summary, the entire effort of all spiritual practices, all religious practices, not only within Hinduism but outside Hinduism also, is to maintain Sattva guna. Sattva Samshuddhi, that is perfect, pure Sattva guna. How to get it? That is the whole purpose of all religious rituals. आप मंदिर जाएंगे तो क्या होगा? बताइए. आप सुबह सुबह मंदिर जाएंगे, क्या होता मंदिर में? सत्व गुण होता है. आपका मन सात्विक गुण से भरा हुआ होता नहीं होता? So all religious activities are aiming at Shuddha Sattva. So Shuddha Sattva is Bhagavan. Ishvara is Shuddha Sattva. We cannot become Shuddha Sattva, but we will become Sattva. That is close to Ishvara. When you are close to God, you are in Sattva. And all Sattvic activities have to be performed. That means Havan karna, Puja karna, Dhyan karna, Kirtan karna, all these are Sattvic activities. Punya karmas. And they will all improve the Sattva Samshuddhi. And of course, pranayama will calm down the Rajoguna and therefore it will improve the Sattva Samshuddhi. Dhyana, Omkara, sadhana will improve Sattva Samshuddhi. So all these, and of course food habits, why we are to vegetarians, why we cannot eat spicy food, because it will be causing Rajoguna and Tamoguna. Why you should not drink alcohol? It is direct poison. Alcohol is direct poison. And it will lead to Tamoguna and destruction. So all the food habits and why you should take bath, it's only for getting into Sattva Guna. I have taken bath today morning at 6:15 to sit and give this lecture because otherwise my mind will be in Tamoguna, which I just woke up from sleep. So the Sattva Guna is the main thing. Therefore, Sattva Samshuddhi, that's why he gave very important position to that. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi, fearlessness and pure, complete sattvic state, purity through sattva and sattva through purity. Okay?
Okay. The
Thank
other
you.
question is, could you please share the thesis on Dharma Yoga?
What is it?
Could you
Not clear.
share the thesis on Dharma Yoga?
Yeah, okay. No, I can share it by email. I have already shared by email to many people. You send me a request, then I will send it by email if I know your email address. Next.
Yeah. Satyanarayana Murthy garu, you can unmute and talk.
Namaste, sir.
Namaste.
Namaste to all the elders. Sir, for the sake of all, I will speak in English only. Actually, there is some confusion regarding the Jews and Christians. All the Jews are Christians or not? There is a conflict is there.
I'll explain.
Christians are not Jews.
No, I'll explain. See, historically what happened, only Jews were there. There were no Christians at one point of time, okay?
Sir.
There were no Christians. Okay, only Jews were there. And other than Jews, what they call Gentiles or pagans were there. That means Hindus, who worship sun and all that. Roman emperor himself worshipped sun. They were all Hindus. The word Hindu is not used by the British historians to all the residents of Europe and Arabia and Middle East and Egypt only for political reasons. Please mute your mics.
Yeah.
So the British historians, they have used the word pagan. And they say Hinduism is also pagan. So the pagan word means in English old timer. That means those who are not converted, they are called pagans. I mean, they were actually Hindus. it is a mischief, because if they admit that the whole globe was Hindu, then they have to have an inferiority towards India and Hinduism, which they don't know. They want to say they are superior. They are like that. So they said that they are pagans. And they also say Hindus are pagans. But they don't say pagans are Hindus. It is so, unfair. So now what has happened is the whole world was containing either Jews or pagans. That means Hindus. So this fellow, Paul, actually, there is a book called Dead Sea Scrolls. Dead Sea Scrolls. Dead Sea is there, a place called Qumran in Israel area. And in that area, there are some mountain caves, and in which some manuscripts are found. They are called scrolls, Dead Sea Scrolls, on leather. So they are giving descriptions of what exactly happened and how Christianity was created. This fellow, Paul, who was actually, his name was Saul, he was a Turkish. He was sent by the Roman emperor, who was a Hindu, who was worshipping sun, to Israel to create a rift among the Jews so that they'll kill each other and they'll become subordinate to Roman emperor without revolts, because they were revolting. They had a lot of revolting organizations. There was one fellow called James. He was leading a group called Zealots. And there were some other Essenes, and there were different Jewish groups who were revolting against the Roman emperor, under whose empire Israel was there. We are talking of the early period of 0 AD to 68 AD and so on. So that period, this fellow Saul, S-A-U-L Saul, was sent by Roman emperor to Israel. He is a Turkish man, to create a rift among Jews. So he came to Israel and told, there is a man called Jesus who is the Messiah of the Jews, which the Jews never agreed. Till today, they don't agree. See, there is one man in Karnataka, he claims that he is a Kalki avatar himself, even today. And his disciples think that he is Kalki avatar. Bhagavan Kalki, they call him. And some of the Muslim ideologues, they say Muhammad is Kalki avatar. And somebody said something, and that Shambhala is supposed to be under Himalayas, according to somebody. But now that Shambhala conflict in Uttar Pradesh, that is where the Kalki temple was there. That masjid was constructed. So these are all controversial issues. Nobody knows exactly where is Shambhala, who is Kalki. As per the Puranas, Kalki is yet to come. It will come after many thousands of years, at the end of Kali Yuga, not now. Now, these fellows, Jews, also have a concept that one Messiah will come. Messiah means prophet, their savior. He will come and save the Jews. So this fellow, who is not a Jew, is a Turkish man, who was basically a pagan originally. He gave a theory that there's a man called Jesus who is the Messiah of the Jews. I'm telling you that your Messiah is this man. Who am I to tell that? And who is this man? So the Jews said, nothing doing. This is all nonsense. We don't agree. And they said at that time, and even today they say that. You ask any Jew, he'll never accept Jesus as the savior of Jews. Understand? So it is a kind of a fraudulent projection made by Paul, whose name converted into Paul from Saul. And that is how Christianity was born. This is mentioned not by me, but in the Dead Sea Scrolls. In the Dead Sea Scrolls, Paul was declared as a liar, cheat. And there is a big war in AD 68, Judea war, about this point itself. Till today, the Jews don't agree to Jesus as the Messiah or Savior of Jews. And in Israel, Jesus' birthday is not given as a holiday, Christmas. And Jerusalem is in Israel only. And the whole thing is a hoax, according to Jews, and even today. Okay, now, what happened later? Up to 324 AD, the Jesus-based Christianity was developed more and more. Of course, initially Paul, and he died, and later somebody, and so on. And finally, in 324 AD, Roman Emperor, once again Roman Emperor, who is a Hindu, is called Mithraist, he used to worship sun. Constantine, he recognized Christianity and gave an order in 324 AD in Council of Crimea and Council of Nicaea that all the Europeans should worship Jesus in place of sun, because they were all worshipping sun. So Jesus replaced sun. So Sunday worship became like that. Otherwise, Jews don't believe in Sunday, they have Saturday, seventh day.
Yes, I too heard.
So now this replacing sun with Jesus, or Jesus with sun, sun with sun, both are same. Because you know how the other proof is? The story of Jesus born to a virgin, having 12 disciples, then dying, then reborn after 3 days. You know whose story is this? This is not only Jesus' story. This was the same story was told to Horus of Egypt, and before that Osiris of Egypt. And actually it is the story of sun, S-U-N sun, not S-O-N sun.
Yes, you.
So the sun is born in Kanya Rasi, that is born to the virgin, goes through 12 Rasis, 12 disciples, and dies on 22nd. Sun disappears in that, because now, you know, yesterday there was no sun in Hyderabad.
Yes.
So there in Jerusalem for 3 days, it disappeared. And on 24th, it was seen again. That is, Uttarayanam started coming. The calculations make it different for Sankranti 15 days, 20 days later. But it's actually nothing but Uttarayan. So when sun is born again, that is the birthday of sun, Saturnalia festival of December 24th, which is rubber stamped as Jesus' birth. So the whole thing is a hoax.
So I got another doubt because Jesus was born in some Israel, something like this, Jerusalem. But why this head office of Christianity, now it is located in Rome?
Just now I told you, this Constantine, Roman emperor,
Because of him only, Constantine.
yeah, he created this myth of Jesus as the Son of God and to be accepted by order of the government. He gave an order, decree, that whole Europe should accept Jesus as son instead of son, as God.
But
And
nobody
that's
from
how
Jerusalem is opposite the shifting of head office to.
No. It is all mythical. See, he created this empire, Roman Empire,
Sir.
using this myth of Jesus, Constantine. Right. And after he died, the Christians took over the empire. That is how it is Roman Catholic Empire.
Yes, sir.
And then the Pope became the emperor of the entire Europe. And then slowly each country became independent, declared independence. Like Russians became independent, saying ours is Russian Orthodox Church, which is their original Hindu tradition, pagan.
Okay.
And Greeks Orthodox Church. Germans started what is called Protestant, and then British government itself is Protestant Church, and is a different, independent from Rome. They all became independent by revolting over a period of time. Otherwise, they were all under Roman Empire and the Roman Catholic Empire. So it's all politics.
Yes, sir.
And similar thing happened in the case of Islam. This Muhammad Abdul Malik, he gave a narrative in Quran. He created Quran in his period. And then with that narrative, he created a religion, and which because this is very clear in the coins in Iran. He took 70 years to convert Iran into Islam, which he himself created. Abdul Malik is one of the caliphs. And then using that narrative, the whole world was being conquered. Just like the opposite model of Christian Empire, Roman Empire.
Yeah.
So these two people are fighting till today.
Yes, sir.
So in fact, there is one J. Smith who is giving so many evidences that the early statements of La ilaha illallah and Muhammad Rasulullah referred to Jesus and not to...
Yes, you already explained.
Yes, because in original Arabic, there were no vowels. MHMD, that is Muhammad. You have to say Muhammad. You cannot say Muhammad. Muhammad is a different word and Muhammad is a different word. So in the early Arabic, only Muhammad was there. La ilaha illallah, there is no God except the God. That means there is only one God. And Muhammad is the messenger of God. Rasul means messenger. I mean, it referred to Jesus because they put crosses in those coins everywhere.
The Baptist is different to Catholics and Protestants, sir?
No, there are, I think, 300 to 400 denominations are there.
Okay.
Jehovah Witness is there, and they don't accept something. Somebody doesn't accept something else. This Unitarian Church is there. They don't accept Jesus separate. They same as Jews and same as Islam. So finally, what they say is that God is there. All right. Okay.
But our God is different.
Yeah, I mean, these people say there are three gods, Trinitarian, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Okay.
That is called the Trinitarian Church. And the Unitarian Church says only one God.
One God. Right.
And all of them say finally one God. And the big joke is that if you put them on a platform, suppose 5 religions are there, everybody says one God. Even Rigveda says Ekam Sat. Even Hindus say one God, Omkaram, Parabrahmam, all that. And Sikh also say Ek Omkar. Now, even Jews will say one God, and Christians also will say one God, Muslims also say one God. But every one God seems to be different from the other one God. Is it possible logically?
No.
So logically,
Secunderabad railway station also so many churches are there, but none, but no one is similar to other one.
so if you take this stand, if you take this stand, if everybody says one God and there cannot be 5 one gods,
Yes.
so there has to be one God,
Yes.
then the matter is closed. And so each one of them derived from the previous n-1.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. I have took much time of yours. Thank you very much.
Right.
Okay, there are 2 questions. Should we take up after the Pradhana or we finish now?
Yeah, we can finish.
Okay, one is a very lengthy suggestion. Just a minute. Okay. Sir, is it necessary for Hindus to practice tilaka or bhasma dharana on the forehead to cover Agna Chakra?
No, it is desirable but not compulsory.
Okay. Then there is a very important one. Is there any online library or where we can access books needed to study and build knowledge needed for research? That's number 1. Some list of good relevant books would be helpful. Also, is there a research publication organization like IEEE where we can look for current ongoing research papers? Maybe VSS can set up a library and members can access books.
Yeah, the very good point you have raised. Actually, IIT Kanpur has created one website. I think some of you might have seen it. Chitbabu, you might have seen it. IIT Kanpur, there is a website where all the Hindu scriptures are available. So, of course, there are many websites. You search in the web Sanskrit or Vedas or Hindu scriptures, you'll find many websites who are giving the digital image of all the scriptures. Of course, VSS can also provide a kind of a reference link. It's a good idea. VSS can create a list of all links, which are, in fact, they are one of my good friends, Rajendra Brahmachari of Vishwa Shanti Mission. He wanted me to create an encyclopedia of Hindu literature and so on. Then I found that already so many are there. Different universities in the world and different institutions, they have created so many. So if you search, you will find many. And VSS can give some kind of introduction. Or on your own also you can. Today, the situation is that you can get everything and anything on your own.
And I think ISER also is doing a good research.
No, ISER did a specific text. I was advisor to ISER. So specific topics and texts, they have done some work. But Today, the internet is so vast. The words Sanskrit or Hindu scriptures or Hinduism or Sanatana Dharma, they can lead you to hundreds of links. Some are very major, like IIT Kanpur ones. Some are minor, but most all of them are valuable. That is the beauty of modern day age. In fact, you can use AI. I was surprised when I asked my name in Meta AI. It gave such a wonderful description of my activities, which I myself cannot give. And when I asked Dharma Yoga, I interacted for a few minutes before asking. It gave such a wonderful statement of Dharma Yoga, which I myself cannot write. And I asked about similarities between Rigveda and Zen Devas. It gave everything. And I asked similarities between Hinduism and Zoroastrianism. It gave. I asked differences between Hinduism and Zoroastrianism. It gave. I asked similarities between Hinduism and Islam. It gave. Differences also. Everything it is giving. I got everything with me now. Meta AI itself is, Gemini is also there. Because what they do is they have written a software which will cull out everything from the existing entire internet literature.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll close.
Right. I think Babu Garu, questions are over.
Okay. Swapna ji, Swasti Mantram, please. Swapna ji, are you there?
Yes.
Okay,
As
please chant.
yes, I'll chant. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितो ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः अपुत्राः पुत्रिणः सन्तु पुत्रिणः सन्तु पौत्रिणः अधनाः सधनाः सन्तु जीवन्तु शरदां शतम् सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान्मा प्रमदः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सर्वे जनाः सुखिनो भवन्तु लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः स्वस्ति
Swasti. Let us go for Janganmana. Challa Chitrabagar.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंधु गुजरात मराठा द्राविड़ उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे जय हिंद जय हिंद।
ధన్యవాదములండి చల్లా చిట్టిబాబు గారు. Thank
Okay,
you so much.
we'll close.